Writers often have a pen name. Our next guest has 3 different ones. Kady Kraus has just released the young adult novel, The Girl in the Steel Corset, and she's here to talk about more of her writing. Welcome, Kady. It's great to have you. You're from Waterbury, which I didn't realize that.
Yes. I mean, we've been living in Waterbury for about 6 years now. I'm originally from Canada.
But you love it here, obviously.
I do. It's a lot like home, except the shopping's better.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your writing. You have a different type of writing style, and I would let's talk about how you started. Actually, you started very young.
I was 8 when I realized that I wanted to be a writer. A teacher had read one of my stories out loud in front of the class, and everybody clapped when they were supposed to and laughed. And so I remember sitting there being this very chubby, shy kid, thinking, "This is good. This is good. I want this." I wrote my first book when I was 12.
Was it published?
No, God, no. Thank God, no. It was 372 handwritten pages about a rock band that sounded suspiciously like Duran Duran.
Okay.
And thankfully that never saw the light of day. No, I didn't sell my first book until I was 28.
You really are a romance author.
Yes, my first book was a historical romance. In fact, my oldest sister's 14 years older than I am, so she had a lot of books laying around the house. And so I read my first romance at age 10.
When you say historical, what era are we talking about here?
I started off with Civil War. That was big back in the, I don't want to date myself, but back in the early 80s. The Kathleen Woodward was doing the Civil War books, those big sweeping epics. By the time I got published, they had really kind of moved sort of into the English time period, the Regency, the Jane Austen.
I love that. Now, were you inspired by Jane Austen in any way?
How could you not be?
I tell you that she is one of my favorite authors.
The humor in it, I think, is fabulous, and she had such great insight into people, which I think is what makes her such a fabulous author. And it's just too bad she didn't get to enjoy more of that success when she was actually alive to see it. But yeah, I think that's what inspires a lot of people, and I think that whole Darcy character is a huge hero fantasy thing for a lot of
When I think about
readers.
Darcy, of course, I think about Colin Firth. So
everybody thinks of Colin Firth. Exactly. When people talk about Pride and Prejudice, I'm like, you mean the Colin Firth one, right?
Exactly,
yes.
Absolutely. But let's get back to your book, Regency novels. So really, those are the types of books I love to read in the summer. I pack it up with some of my other books that I wanted to read, but these are really quick beach reads for me.
Well, they're fun, and romance. One of the wonderful things about romance is you're going to get that happy ending. I wrote some Victorian vampire romances, and in the first book, the heroine was dying. And everybody, I got so many fan mails from people saying, "I thought you were really going to kill her," but then you wouldn't get the happy ending.
Exactly.
And that's the thing about romance novels, is that no matter what they go through, they're going to end up okay. And I think that resonates with a lot of people.
You have 3 different pen names. Why do you have 3 of them?
Well, actually, if you count my real name, which is what I wrote my historical romance under, I have 4. But I'm not going to be writing under that name for a while right now.
So you're taking a break from that name?
I am. I had, last year I had something, what I call my mid-career crisis. Basically, I wanted to date younger books and drive a faster computer.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot more fun.
I just realized that I felt like I was spinning my wheels. I think in a lot of careers, you need to kind of have that change, and especially when your career consists of sitting at home all day in your pajamas surrounded by 5 cats. Sometimes you need to shake things up a little bit.
All right, so you're shaking things up.
I'm shaking things up a bit. This is the start of it, yes.
And this genre is steampunk. Describe that.
The simplest way to describe steampunk is that it's a Victorian time period, but the science fiction of the Victorian age is real. So what if you took H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, even some of the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, took some of that stuff and made it real. So people are in submarines, they're going to Mars, there's robots taking over the world. I almost think of it as like Terminator in a corset kind of thing.
Okay. Well, this one is the girl in the steel corset.
Yes, she does have a steel corset.
She does. And so this is why I say this is really a unique way of writing for you anyway.
It is. It's fun. Well, I grew up watching Star Trek with my sisters, Space 1999. Again, I'm dating myself. But I love that science fiction. I love the fantasy and just the fun of it. And to be able to combine it with my love of historical settings in the Victorian period, well, you know, it was just too good to pass up.
Now, this is for the young teen?
12 to 18.
Okay.
But I've gotten a lot of mature women emailing me telling me they've read it
I'm
too.
going to read this book.
I hope so.
I am. It looks interesting. Now, is this sort of is this like a romance novel meets sci-fi?
There's not really a lot of romance
Not
in
a
this
lot,
book.
okay.
And some people have been upset about that,
Yeah,
so I know
because
that I
would've
need to
thought
put some
because
in
of your history with all the other books.
I just thought where it was the kids, I just sort of give them an adventure and let it brew. It's part of a series. It's the
Okay.
first book in a series. So they've got plenty of time.
Basic plot?
Finley Jane, 16 years old, a Jekyll and Hyde type girl, and she meets up with some other kids that have some unusual abilities as well, and gets caught up in a plot to replace Queen Victoria on the throne.
Oh, that is interesting. All right, so this is the first foray into this
Yes.
series of books for you.
Yes.
All right, well, again, the book is The Girl in the Steel Corset by Kady Kraus. And Kady, thanks so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
And your real name is? Do you want to reveal
Catherine
it?
Smith.
Catherine Smith, okay. It's great to have you, Catherine.
Thank you.